Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we've got even more details on Becky versus Trish getting cancelled.
Backstage frustration on the current state of the WWE Women's Division.
Got some alleged politics in the AEW Women's Division.
And the latest on WWE's plans for Cody Brock 3 at SummerSlam. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm very intimidated by the sheer volume of stuff we have to cover today.
And this is the news.
But we're going to do our best. Happy birthday, Graham Shinny.
Shinny Esther.
That's the one and only. Well, there's two actually. But let's kick things off by talking a little bit more about Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch, which of course is not happening at SummerSlam. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the week, but a new report from Fightful Select has come out talking about why this match isn't on SummerSlam. And it's pretty interesting. They noted that the reason this match got bumped from SummerSlam is that WWE are adamant about limiting the number of matches and the runtime for their PLEs at the moment. This has led to some matches that were built for SummerSlam initially to get moved, including this one. Sources have indicated that if Trish versus Becky had taken place on SummerSlam, it would have been severely limited in terms of time allotted to it. Now, there was some consideration to moving it back to Payback, which we discussed yesterday, but instead it's on the 14th of August episode of Raw. I mean, there's not really much more to add to that because this kind of segues in with your story a little bit. So let's get that one in the can, then we'll talk about the WWE situation, then we'll unpack this AEW thing that's going on.
Yeah, I'm a little bit conflicted with this whole Becky Trish thing, but in terms of the bigger picture of the WWE Women's Division, all is not well, basically. As you mentioned, Becky versus Trish is not going to be on SummerSlam. Rhea Ripley's not going to be wrestling on that show either. The only two women's matches are, of course, the MMA rules match between Shayna and Ronda, and the triple threat between Asuka, Charlotte Flair, and Bianca Belair for whatever we're calling the Raw SmackDown Women's Championship nowadays.
Women's Championship, Rhea's the world, right?
I'm really struggling with this one.
Yeah, so am I, and I don't know why. My brain doesn't retain new information.
No, that's it. One thing comes in, something else has to come out
I
again.
lose memory of my birthday or something.
But this report comes from Whooped Wrestling, who tweeted yesterday, there are growing frustrations backstage in WWE regarding the handling of the women's division, which, coupled with your story, Andy, does make a bit of sense.
Yeah, it does. It kind of adds up a little bit, and there was a note in the Fightful report on Trish versus Becky noting that they weren't exactly happy with what had happened in the match being pulled.
Oh, I've seen their social media posts.
Yeah, so have I. Quite telling.
And Rhea's, I believe, actually.
Yeah, she's been making some likes. Fair play. They can do what they want on their socials. Anyone can, unless they're violating billionaires, apparently. I have completely lost my train of thought here. Oh yeah, Dave Meltzer had a comment as well about how Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez is not currently scheduled to be on the card and probably won't happen, but they might add it as a surprise. So I guess that would be something. But look, I think these criticisms are totally valid.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at what's been put on the card, right? A battle royal. I mean, look, I love LA Knight.
Me too.
I've made that very clear over the past few weeks, and it would be great it's nice to see him get a win on SummerSlam. But do we need that there?
No.
Does that need to exist if it's coming at the cost of getting Rhea Ripley, who's like one of the probably the one best wrestler on Raw at the moment?
Yeah.
Like one of the wrestlers of the year in terms of not in like having millions and millions of 20-star matches or whatever, but in terms of weekly presence and lifting everyone up around her, people she's feuding with, people in her stable.
Compare her to this time last year.
Yeah, how do you not get Rhea Ripley on one of the biggest shows of the year? It's kind of mental to me. And also, this hasn't always been the case throughout her title reign.
No.
But they've actually built a good story with her, Liv and Raquel.
Yeah.
Where she's just murderizing them and they can come back from the injuries and stuff.
Yeah, I'm a little bit conflicted by this because, like you say, it felt like she's either going to fight Liv or Raquel, and then Liv's injury is obviously legitimate, and that's why she's taking some time off, and we obviously wish her well in her recovery. The Raquel thing is difficult to speculate on because who knows whether she's just absolutely fine and this is just, her selling something as part of that storyline. But yeah, why wouldn't you have it culminate at your second biggest show of the year? Or even if you need to, because Raquel Rhea is a great match in terms of like Raquel is a legitimate challenger to Rhea Ripley. No offense to anyone that's come before.
And they've had great matches before in NXT.
If you want to give yourself an out, there's your out. She's coming in not at 100%, but she's going to I felt like that was going to happen. And then on Monday, they had the thing, and I was like, okay, cool. She'll say, I'll see you on Saturday. And then nothing happened. The Trish Becky thing as well, like, I get it. Meltzer also tweeted, like you say, it's WWE's policy to keep these things tight. That's why we don't have any matches on the kickoffs anymore, which I do appreciate and has been doing great guns for them in terms of business. So I understand that business model, and I don't want to sit here and say, well, just take 2 minutes off every other match.
No, just get rid of the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Like, that's
really quite simple.
That's it, isn't it? Like, that's a fine point until you realise that there's a pointless Slim Jim Battle Royal.
It's not like there's the US title match on there as well. Like,
yeah.
Oh, look.
It's a whole deal.
It's and that's the thing, like, in terms of like champions, you look at it on paper and you go, well, they've got Rhea Ripley and Asuka as champions. They've got the likes of Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Liv Morgan. Natalia had that banger recently with Rhea Ripley. Raquel Rodriguez. In the background, you're sort of thinking, okay, well, Roxanne Perez can come up in due course and challenge for it. So on paper, you've got a really thriving women's division. You're just not booking them very well. Case in point, the women's tag team champions who have already lost a match after winning the tag titles.
It's a whole
Would you do that with the men? I don't think so.
I don't think they would. And look, the SummerSlam card I think is great, genuinely. I think
buzzing for it.
But these are valid criticisms, and I think there are things going on in the women's division that merit position on the card, certainly more than a bloody battle royal.
Yes.
Look, I'm not complaining either about having a free hour pay-per-view.
No, absolutely not.
I enjoy that as a viewing experience, but if you're going to sacrifice something, I don't know, maybe sacrifice the 30 minutes of pointless video packages that are on these
you
things.
Always skip through. It's so easy.
It's like, I've already watched the TV. I know this match.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're watching it on Peacock, you've already made the time commitment to watching this.
Hoy them on Raw when you got 3 hours to kill or whatever.
What's the point?
And I'm not. The AEW women's division's no better. Like,
we're about to talk about this.
Yeah, just because they put the women in the main event of Dynamite this week does not excuse the fact they only ever put women's match on Dynamite. Ever. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, let us know in the comment section for what you think about this whole deal, what you think about SummerSlam, what you think about Becky Trish getting kind of pulled away, and all of this stuff going on in WWE and AEW as well, because we've got some spicy stuff to cover here. And apologies in advance to Lufisto and to Fightful, who conducted the interview on which much of this is based. There's simply not enough, minutes in this video for me to accurately go over every single facet of this. I would encourage you to check out the Fightful interview, and Jeremy Lambert did a transcription of it for their website as well if you're a little bit pressed on time. That's how you can get the full breadth of this, but we're going to do our best here to try and summarize what's been going on. So Lufisto, bit of background, indie wrestling legend. That's not in any question whatsoever. She's been on the scene for decades and decades. Highly respected vet, one of the greatest to ever do it on those scenes, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. She's been alleging some backstage politics in AEW, stemming back to a sort of pseudo tryout she had with the company last April, I believe it was. She met QT Marshall at WrestleCon, I think it was, and he was like, hey, come and do some coaching. We've got a coaching gig, come in, meet Tony, all of this stuff. She ended up coming in, working a match for a Dark Elevation taping that didn't go as planned. She never ended up meeting with Tony Khan, that is, and the coaching thing obviously never materialized. But there's a whole lot more to this. She goes over kind of like a backstage interaction. So it was a 6-woman tag she was in, and she alleges that she was prevented from really doing anything by the other participants in the match. And then Dustin Rhodes, who's a coach in AEW, of course, kind of chewed her out a little bit according to these allegations. He said to her, and this is according to Lufisto, you made all those girls that are signed look bad. It was terrible, you're not signed, all of this stuff. And she asked for some details on what she did wrong. He gave an example of a moment where she got hit when she was on the edge of the apron, she got knocked by Anna Jay. And he was like, hey, you should have bumped to the outside, you should have bumped like crazy the whole match. She claimed she was told not to. There's a whole bunch of conflicting, a whole bunch of stuff here, basically, that doesn't reflect well coming from this story. Dustin has tweeted about this and said, "Hey, I read your story. Sometimes as a coach, I have to be very honest and won't ever tell you a lie about how good or bad it was. Sometimes hard love comes out and I wouldn't have it any other way. I hope you find what you're looking for." Previous to this, Lufisto had mentioned as well that she'd walked into a room and Dustin and Ruby Soho were having a conversation, and Dustin went to her, "So yeah, it turns out all French Canadians are assholes," or something along, and she's French Canadian for the context. So there's a lot more to get through. I'm sorry, this is going to take a while, but I just want to try and cover the key points. She went over like a backstage incident she had with Ruby when Ruby was in WWE. It was around WrestleMania in 2016. What would that be? 32? Something like that. But there was like a backstage thing where there were some WWE executives sitting around. Kimberly, former WWE, what was her name? Abby Lath in WWE. And Ruby was like dumping on Shimmer, which is like the quintessential woman's like independent promotion in the US. This is what she says. And then there was another match that they were supposed to have for IWS in Montreal that got a bit messed up with some alleged screwery from Ruby there. She kind of summarized her issues. I'll read this as a direct quote. "I'm telling my story and my experience for people to understand that the reason why this division doesn't work is the gatekeeping of it. It's not going to get any better as long as someone doesn't stand up. Everybody is afraid to talk. Everybody doesn't want to say what I'm saying right now. I'm even struggling right now, but someone has to say it." Now, Nicole Matthews, to give you a bit of balance, another indie vet who did what was it? Jade, she wrestled for AEW this year. Short match this year, but another indie legend tweeted some nice words about Ruby when this came out, so a bit of balance. She said she's one of the absolute favourite people she's ever met in wrestling. So after not seeing her lovely face in 5 years, the second I saw her at AEW, she ran up to me and gave me the most giant hug. It was like no time had passed at all. One thing she said to me that stuck was, "You always remember the ones that treated you right on the way up." There's more. So Lufisto's criticisms of AEW stem back to the 28th of June when she tweeted, that's last weekend, I was stuck in an airport at this time, I believe, and I caught up on this. "It's cute how people blame bad booking for a bad women's division. Talent with too much power, talent denigrating each other, talent trash-talking potential employees so they never get in as soon as they walk in. It starts here." So she's alleging essentially that people politicked her out of getting that job in AEW that we just spoke about. This led to fan speculation online about Britt Baker being involved. Fightful moved very quickly to publish a report stating that Britt Baker 100% was not responsible for keeping Lufisto away from AEW, and Lufisto actually confirmed this to the outlet herself in the Fightful Select article. Fightful noted, however, that there have been issues in the AEW women's division. Baker has had the finger pointed at her several times, although she is believed to have had, and I quote, "significant reasons to have her guard up in any situations." There's also another series of tweets that Lufisto posted just yesterday, or X's, whatever we're calling them now. I don't know, man.
It'll always be Twitters to me.
Yeah, she's speaking about a backstage meeting that happened where Tony Khan sent a bunch of people, allegedly sent a bunch of people who were talking about these issues home. And pointed out, here's a quote again, "the legitimate wrestlers believe Tony doesn't give a damn about women's wrestling and feel like they are going back to the Divas era." So there's a whole bunch of stuff here, man. There's stuff about Britt Baker having a crew, there's some stuff about Thunder Rosa. This is a whole thing. I don't think, to my knowledge, that anyone else has come out and gone, "Yes, hello, I'm a public wrestling figure and I can corroborate what Lufisto has said here." So this is just one side of the story. I think it's important to point out that the situations she's describing here are from 1 year and 4 months ago, April 2022. So it's entirely possible that if these things did happen, that maybe they've been resolved, maybe they haven't. I don't know. We're not in the locker room. So I'm not going to pass strong judgment on any of this. It's just one of the defining wrestling stories of the week. So we are telling you about it on the video. Appreciate that was very long. I am sorry, but there's a lot of detail, and I think it's important to get as much of that story out as possible.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Great work covering it there, and great work from Fightful as well. You know, taking all of this and giving it out there to everyone to consume as and when they want to. Like you say, I'm not going to speculate too much on this because I'm not there. I don't know what's happened backstage. I wasn't there for any backstage meetings. We have no knowledge about that. But so I'm just going to sit here and do my usual take of they need to book the women's division in AEW better, and they need to put more matches on television because there needs to be some form of parity rather than just, oh, you've got one main event, there you go.
And we should note as well, right? There's certain figures in the AEW women's. Britt Baker's one of them. Thunder Rosa's another. Who, man, people love pointing the finger at these people online when, like, really, by people, right? I'm not talking about Lufisto, who's a wrestler and who's been backstage with these wrestlers. I'm talking about, like, just the average Twitter user or Reddit poster or whatever. Love pointing the finger at certain individuals in this division. And in any division, really, when in reality, you don't know SHIT about interpersonal things unless you're privy to them and you've been there. It's best not to pass judgment on them unless you do, I think.
If you prefer wrestling to politics, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell.
Oh, very nice.
Hey?
Well, we've spoken about Kid Rock twice this week. That didn't go well, so...
No more. Well, he's going to do the cold open at some time, but after that, no more.
Smoking funny things at SummerSlam.
Oh,
you know? Bow it to bar.
Oh, so long. But SummerSlam is on Saturday, of course, and Cody Brock 3 goes down there. And Fightful Select, they're hot, aren't they, at the moment?
They're so good.
Providing another update on that match, because I think many of us, myself and Andy included, assumed in the recent weeks that we were going to get a stipulation added to it, because... well, that's what all the reports were saying, and it would have arguably made sense. Obviously, a dog collar match is the whispers that we'd heard. Apparently, I like the way this is. Where's the quote here? Sources from both parties have indicated that the idea didn't get further than somebody questioning if a dog collar would be necessary, and then after that, no one brought it up. A gimmick match was, according to Fightful Select, was not considered heavily, despite all the rumours. And unless anything changes in the next 24 and a bit hours, it's just going to be a one-on-one match. Sidge made a good point. Any match that Brock Lesnar in is sort of a stipulation match because he's got terrifying weapons at his disposal, even if you don't give him a dog collar. But it is interesting to think that everyone was whispering about a dog collar match, and basically they went, "You need that? Nah." And then just moved on.
I think as well, like, the WWE presentation style maybe doesn't lend itself to a dog collar match anyway. Like, those matches are best when they're brutal and bloody and ugly and stuff, and that's not the WWE style. So
I'm sure Cody could get away with it.
Cody would find a way to make it good. Like, the man's a genius, but I'm looking forward to it anyway. Every Brock match to me is special anyway. So, like, I'm a huge Brock guy. The world knows this, and Cody's doing a magnificent job. I'm sure this will be good.
And if you're thinking, Adam, Andy, what are your predictions for SummerSlam? Well, I got some good news for you.
5 p.m. today, baby, right here, UK time. Midday on the East Coast, on the West Coast. I don't know.
If you're in Australia, like 3 days from now, or no, it's already come out. Actually, I think if you're in Australia,
I think it's after SummerSlam. Truth be told.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions.
Digital time.
Questions at WhatCulture WWE if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Grave Tiller, who says, now that Hikaru Shida is world champion, do you think her first defense could be against Saraya at All In?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. They'll obviously, Saraya's been front and center of a lot of the advertising, obviously, because she's British and a big name and good at what she does.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you put her front and center? Which suggests to me that she's going to get a big match. I think it would make a lot of sense. It follows the current storyline. She might you beat Tony, I'm going to beat you. She can also call people twats in the UK without getting into trouble.
Twats, they call it in America, don't they?
Twat, they do. I really love, personally, the chaos that Saraya brings to pro wrestling.
Please.
I'm a huge fan of it, and I hope she cuts some really weird promos.
Yes, I've no doubt that she will. I think that's as much as we sit here and say we shouldn't just automatically get on the All-In card because you're British. It's Saraya. It makes sense in storyline, and it's a title match. Absolutely get that on there.
Let's do it.
I'm still getting over Hikaru Shida winning the world title. I was just like, okay, here we go. Yeah, Tony Storm, outcast interference. Wait a second.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
A nice moment.
Travis Zachary gives us our next question. In honor of back to school time in the States, pick a class, Andy, to ace, barely pass, or fail. Option 1, how to be a POS with ex-con Dom. How to lose a tag partner with Liv Morgan.
All right.
And promo class with Tony Khan.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm passing how to be a POS because I'm already a POS.
Flying colours.
Yeah, I'm a hunk of trash. People just don't realize it yet. So that's a no-brainer. As far as the other ones go, how to lose a tag partner, I think I want to fail that because I like my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want
also, it's not really Liv's fault, to be fair.
Yeah, poor Liv, man.
She can't teach you how to do it because she just It just happens to
Oh,
her.
actually, you're about to piss off for a month when you have a kid, so like maybe I should pass that one. I don't know. I'll have to get a new partner like this alligator who's trying to bite Brock Lesnar.
We were talking about this before we started filming. His left arm's too close, isn't it? That's lunge range.
Listen, if you're an alligator and you see a piece of cardboard or a human, which one are you biting? I'm just saying.
Brock Lesnar's face seems quite antagonising to a gator as well.
Yeah, I would take that guy down. So I guess I'm just barely passing. What was the other one again?
Promo class with Tony Khan.
Yeah, because I can barely string a sentence together. So there you go.
God, can you imagine an hour in the classroom with him talking at you? Thanks, guys.
He's calmed it down.
Also,
recently.
does the first class come with like you sometimes can get help in an exam? If it's how to be a POS with ex-condom, does your like paper or performance get a bit of a sweetener to it?
To be fair, I think they've stopped doing that now.
Yeah.
But
Well, especially when they're in NXT and
Yeah.
the audience there are trained seals. So.
well, yeah, like I get a real kick out of the NXT audience. They'll do anything.
Except, who was it? Oh yeah, they just randomly were like, no, we don't like. Was it? Who was it? Was it?
The Rascals. Yeah. What was their name in
MSK?
MSK, that's right.
They were like, boo! I was like, these guys are awesome. What's wrong with you?
Do you remember that rumor about?
Oh God!
Was it Izzy's parents
Yeah.
didn't like them, so they told everyone? That tells you a lot about. I mean, it was just a rumor, but that tells you a lot about that crowd. It's like the same people every week.
The fact it got legs. That rumor.
It's so unique. This NXT crowd thing. It's funny.
NXT is unique, is one way of describing it.
Sure is.
Mark Lee Willis gives us our final question of the day. Mark, thank you as always for your contribution.
Nice guy, Mark.
Right, it's morning. If not sure if Crazy Friday is still a thing. Well, occasionally. Well, what do you think the first words of Baby Wilborn will be? Your options are iconic or to the moon or boringly mum/dad. Also, what would each of the gang look like as emojis? Here's the ones he's picked for us. That one for me is absolutely spot on.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, that's you. The face you pull when I spout some bollocks.
I got two of them. I got that one there, which is like laughing, but I've got another one where the one where it's like stressing out.
Yeah,
that's me when I'm not on camera.
Or just the teeth. The teeth emoji. It's like.
Me watching a dumpster fire unfold on a spreadsheet in front of me. That's like 90% of my day now. I forgot the question, Mark. I know what it is. Hey guys!
Oh God,
100%.
I've still not asked him to be the Godfather yet. He's going to be so. Don't no one tell him.
Does he not hate you?
No,
No?
he's turned. But ever since he won the tag titles, he's really he's turned babyface on me now.
All right, okay.
We're talking about stacks, by the way, if you're unaware. If you don't know what's going on, check out the NXT preview and review podcast. I mean, it won't be explained on there, but
No,
you know,
but if you listen enough, you will figure it out.
you just go, okay, I guess that's a thing now.
And that's why you have to listen more than once every week, so that we get more money.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm only joking.
As hard as I am going to try for all of these, I do think, unfortunately, it's going to be mum or dad. It should be mum.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to be dad.
Yeah.
You get it?
I think it's going to be dad. Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. The lack of sleep, not so much.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenging time.
I'm
sure.
a man who gets grumpy if I don't get 8 hours. Good luck with that, everyone.
I can't remember the last time I got 8 hours, so that maybe explains a lot about my demeanor.
Yeah. Me and Andy are polar opposites on this. I
get 4. It's really unhealthy. It sucks.
But hey, if you can't sleep, why don't you check out this video instead? Bye.
Just buried the video.